Hi, this is Mike Varty from Script for Jesters, Tier, Credo, Landmark, Shadowland, and you're watching Live Prog.
Hello music friends, welcome to a new review, and the album I have for you in this review is this album by Seasons of Time, and the album is Closed Doors to Open Planes. Now, if I would imagine myself to be in a music store, very hard to imagine because there are not many around these days, and I would browse through the albums there and I would come across this one, I would most certainly pick it up. I would pick it up. Now, look at it. Oh, okay. Looks very nice. Yeah, it's very nice. I like the cover. Bring it a little closer. There we have it. I absolutely like the cover. Also with the title, Closed Doors to Open Planes. That is exactly, literally what you see in this cover. But also, if we open it up, as you can see, it all looks very nice. We have the rear, and as you can see, we have a lot of tracks. We have 16 tracks altogether, and there even is a booklet with it, with lyrics of course, and some more artwork. So that all looks very nice. So I would definitely pick up this album. I would go to the counter and I would say, sir, I would like to listen to this album because I'm curious. So I would put on my headphones and listen to the first track of the album, which is called An Overture in My Head. We have the word overture in the first track, so that already, it was not very hard to come by that with 16 tracks it might be some kind of a concept album, and that is exactly what you hear in that first track. But the first thing you hear when you put on this album are birds. And I was like, okay, it's not outside, it is on the album, alright. Interesting. And already in that first track you hear bits and pieces that we will hear later on in the album as well. Now, first of all, who are Seasons of Time? Because this is their second album. And if I look at the history of the band, I'm a bit amazed, but then again, in progressive rock, these things do happen, and we don't have to look up for them because the band was founded in 1993. It took them a few years. In 1997 they released their debut album called Behind the Mirror, and then after that it became rather quiet. Now if you would look up the Facebook page of the band, you would find a list of previous members and a list of current members, so that a lot of people have been a part of this band in history. But at a certain point, one of the musicians in this band, Dirk Berger, decided that from 2010 on, Seasons of Time, this band would not be a live band anymore, it would be a studio project. And he would, run it, and he would work on a new album. And that became this one. So this is, in essence, the first album this band releases in 17 years. Now, I gotta be honest, when you have so much time in passing, and when you become a studio project, which means, in my opinion, in my idea, I could be wrong, but I'd say you have some more time to work on your album, because you don't have to go on tour or anything. Now you can just work on the album and that will be it. So it's very important to really bring out a good album. So you have to make sure that people notice you with this album. I say a concept album, and when I look at these 16 tracks, there are a lot of them, and when I look at the times of these tracks, the last track, track number 16, clocks over 10 minutes. The rest of the tracks somewhere between 1 minute and 5 minutes. That reminded me a bit of the album Mouse by the Australian band Aragon, which is an album I really love. It's an amazing album. But they doing a similar thing, They created an album with a lot of shorter tracks, and a band like this and a band like Aragon shows that it doesn't need to be 20-minute songs to create progressive rock. You can do that with shorter songs as well. And especially in this album, a lot of these tracks really flow into each other. There's a nice flow in the album, which makes it very nice. And I gotta say, I started listening to this album, and then past that first track, I really heard some beautiful music, some really nice progressive rock that I enjoy very much. There was a nice bass in it, there were nice keyboards in it, a lot of great keyboards in it, real proggy ones, there was nice guitars in it, so I thought, well, wow, this really shapes up to be a great album. Then the vocals came in, and I thought, okay. Now, to give you a little bit of an idea, I mentioned Dirk Berger. He's, the captain on Seas of Time on the ship. He plays bass, keyboards, and does some additional guitars and vocals. Now, as I said, the bass and the keys on the album are really fantastic, as are the guitars. Then we have Malte Twarlo doing the vocals, doing also guitars, playing also guitars and additional keyboards. Florian Wenzel doing, playing guitars, I'm saying doing, but they're playing guitars, of course. And we have Marco Groen on drums. So these 4 musicians make up the lineup for this album. And then we have a guest musician, Pete Harrison, playing some horns on the album, which also has a nice addition. And there is some additional voices of Kelly Bell. And it says here, she is of K-Li Bell. And this Malte Twarlo is also part of that K-Li Bell. So they're together in this album as well. Now, Malte Twarlo is the vocalist on the album. But I have to be honest, when he started singing, I had a feeling like, you have the really beautiful music and then you have the vocals. And the vocals didn't sound that great. I was really kind of disappointed in them. But I thought, okay, we'll give it a chance. We'll keep on listening to the album. And I gotta say, the first 7 tracks are really enjoyable. I really enjoy listening to them. But then came track number 8, A Step Ahead. And I really have to take this one in and look up the lyrics of it. And I can already show it to you. Now, we accuse often pop music of, endlessly repeating short phrases, and that thus making up the records. But what I have here is almost the same thing, because it's constantly repeating, "You're not needed anymore." And that goes on in this song. And there's another track, and I believe it is track number 11, which is called "You're Not Needed Anymore." And there we have that same phrase again. And it's not sung, it's more like shouted. And I thought, oh my god, this is terrible. I really disliked that song. I thought, the first 7 tracks were okay. I really enjoyed them. It was really nice music on it, but this track number 8, no way. Skip it, please. Then I moved in to track number 9. The Station at the Border of the Mind. I liked the song title already, and when I listen to the music, it's like, wow, this is fantastic. It's an instrumental track. Really amazing. A lot of fantastic guitars in it, really nice keyboards in it, a very good rhythm section in it, really fantastic. I thought, wow, this is the highlight of the album. And especially coming after such a terrible track, I thought, wow, these guys can make some really amazing music that, gives you that special feeling like, oh yeah, this is good. And then it flows in seamlessly into track number 10, Expectations 2. And that starts off as a real EM song, electronic music, lots of really amazing synths in it. Unfortunately, the vocals come in a little bit, but not too much, so it's still bearable. And I thought, these 2 songs are so far the best I heard on this entire album. Despite the fact that I really enjoyed the first bit of the album, but these 2 tracks are really the best I heard. But unfortunately, after track number 10 comes track number 11, we have the same cringing feeling as number 8, and from there on out it really goes downhill. And even that last track, I was listening to it, it's 10 minutes. Musically it's okay, but the vocals ruin it, although I have the feeling that, especially in the second half of the album, the production is terrible. I mean, initially when the album starts out, I think the production was very good, even at least up until track number 10, because 9 and 10 have a really clear sound, really beautiful. But after that, I have a feeling that the whole production goes down. Not just the vocals, I already had that feeling very early on in the album. So after track number 10, I don't really enjoy listening to it anymore. You know, it doesn't sound bad. I mean, the songwriting is good, but the way it is done and the way the vocals are, just I don't enjoy listening to it. And I'm sorry, but if I buy an album, I would enjoy it. If I would be in that record store that I mentioned at the beginning, and I would come to, well, probably come to track number 8, I might even, you know, call it a day and say, okay, this is not for me, and I'll put it back, and I don't buy it. Maybe if I stop at 9, I say, okay, this is great, I'll buy it. I'll be disappointed later on, but, you know, that's a shame. I really would say, you know, if you make a comeback after 17 years, that you bring a quality album, that you really make sure that everything is done well, that the production is done well from start to finish, and not just start out good and then halfway think, okay, you know, good enough here. The people have listened to the first half, they love it. I don't care about the second half. I don't know if that's what they had in mind, but it appears to me like that because of, well, the feeling I get when I listen to the album. And then that last track I mentioned, it is a 10-minute track, but there's a little trick to it because the last 3 minutes of the album are bird sounds. 3 flippin' minutes of bird sounds on this album. That's how it ends. And I thought, like, I don't mind if they put in some bird sounds, but come on guys, 3 minutes. I don't know why they did that. They must have a reason for it. I don't know why, but that comes off cheap to me. So as much as I would have liked this album to be a really amazing one, as much as I would have said, you know, guys, buy this album, at this moment I can only say I am really disappointed in it. And it's a shame that happens, but it shows that, you know, a beautiful cover may attract your attention, but listen to an album first before you buy it. And if you like it, of course buy it, but if you don't like it, please leave it and move on to other music, because there's fortunately a lot of great music out there that we can listen to, that we can enjoy. Fortunately, I have a lot of great music to review, but once in a while I come across an album that I think is really amazing and I want to review it, but then halfway I am kind of disappointed in it. And unfortunately, closed doors to open planes by Seasons of Time will remain a closed door for me. Despite these brilliant tracks, 9 and 10, this will remain a closed door for me. I would say if you want to, you know, take a chance, if you're feeling adventurous, I'd say listen to it first, but for me, I'm sorry guys, it's a no-go. So I would say, you know, keep on listening to great music. I'll be back with another review, and I can promise you that album will be fantastic, because I already know which one and I already heard it, and that one definitely did not disappoint me. So I hope you will see me at a new review. Thanks for watching.